From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
Kristen Lampkin dropped by our Raleigh location last month to talk about the economic benefits to minority businesses that practice equity and inclusion.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
Kristen, tell us your names and your position with the group.
Okay, Kristen Lampkin, and I am the Director of Business Equity for Indy, and I work for CICP, Central Indiana Corporate Partnership.
Have you spent day one of Raleigh?
Well, I've been able to walk around and network, so that's been exciting, and just seeing all of the great conversations that are taking place around AI. Had an opportunity to pop into Be Nimble and Pattern, had a conversation with some Black founders and hearing about their experiences. It was very candid, and even one of the speakers got choked up just talking about his mom, and that's his why. And so I think any work you do, whether you're a business owner or you're working in a corporation or nonprofit, knowing your why is so important.
Right.
So when tough times come, you're prepared and know that, hey, at the end of the day, my why is this.
And in some cases, there are local organizations here to support you in those low times.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about the work that you're doing and how people who are, whether it's the Raleigh group as broadly or in a Power Minority Business Week, how they might be able to take advantage of resources they don't even understand.
Yes. So Business Equity for Indy focuses on three areas: people, procurement, and policy, which applies to all organizations. And it's a free membership where companies can get resources, whether that's hearing about programs, initiatives that are out there focused on finding Black talent, and ways that they can really tap into keeping their top talent, retaining their top talent, and advancing their top talent. And then looking at their Black spend. How are they spending their dollars? What does that look like for them? And also looking at policy. What policies are impacting here us locally, especially when it comes to the Black and Brown community? Is
your area of interest, specialty, emphasis the minority business owner, the employer who either is doing a good job or needs to do a better job with their workforce? Who do you seek out?
Both.
Yeah.
So we seek out business owners, especially Black business owners that can't get in front of the companies like your Lillys and your Cummins, to be able to showcase what their business is and understand the process, right? How do I get into these organizations, whether I am a caterer or maybe I'm a printing company? What do I need to do to get into the organizations? And then we're seeking out organizations that are doing this work well when it comes to finding talent and recruiting talent and advancing talent. But we want those companies that are like, hey, I need help. What are resources? What benefits should I be offering so that we can keep our talent here in Central Indiana? As we all know, the conversation around talent is one that's very much talked about often. People are saying, where can I find the talent? It's hard to find the talent. But what we're trying to do is allowing them to think about unique ways and strategies to really find top talent, especially Black talent here in Central Indiana. And how are we keeping them? How are we advancing them? How are we providing them resources so that they can be better at what they're doing? Whether that's looking at good wages. So we are very big at advocating for good wage, and so that's important. A lot of companies don't realize how that could really help with poverty by giving your employees a livable wage and be able to advance.
How many resources kind of go wanting? In other words, people don't even understand that they're out there and available to them.
Yes, and so one of our big things is bringing awareness and having opportunities to speak with individuals to bring awareness to these programs that are out there. Great example, we recently did a panel talking about equity projects that some of our small businesses are doing here in Central Indiana. Some of them have under 150 employees, but they are focused on equity and how can they really be able to keep their talent within their organization and attract their talent. So some of them shared how they really looked at what is the wage, like I shared earlier. Also, what resources do I need? Gleaner's Food Bank talks about not only do they give food for those that are in need that are externally, but they offer those same resources internally, not assuming that your employees have it all. Asking your employees, what do you need? And being very intentional with that, and then understanding that sometimes it takes dollars, but also there's unique ways that you can really be able to move the needle by partnering with Employee Indy, by partnering with the Indianapolis Urban League, and bringing those resources to your employees.
That is a fascinating thing that I hadn't thought of from that perspective. The idea that your lived experience may be dramatically different from the lived experience of your employees.
Yes.
And so then as part of what you do,
Yes.
helping both understand where there can be commonality?
Yes. Because the business community may say, well, that's the community's job to do that. But really, it has to be a combination of business and community coming together. And that's what Business Equity for Indy focuses on. How can we help the business community understand where their employees are? And that's why BEI was birthed. In 2020, CEOs and executives realized that the Black community and their Black employees were impacted in a way that they didn't even know. And they came to CICP and the Indy Chamber and said, what can we do to fix this? Or not even fix this, what solutions can we have? What strategies can we implement? And that's why Business Equity for Indy came about, because the leaders recognized that, again, their lived experiences were different. But how can they bring a better experience for their employees through looking at it from the people side and the procurement side and policies? And so that is how they're kind of being able to merge together. And then community partnerships. We partner with Be Nimble, Mentors of Color, the Indianapolis Urban League Exchange, and bringing awareness to programming that they have available and how they can be utilizing these organizations to finding Black talent and retaining and advancing their talent, as well as helping Black businesses.
You mentioned this was born out of the 2020 social justice movement.
Yes.
Times move, political whims change. Is that work getting more difficult for you? Is it still well supported? Where do things stand?
So I know one of the things that often we're hearing across the board, not just here in Indiana, United States, of people are like, what about this equity work? And what we have found is that our companies are leaning in more.
Still?
Yes, still. They recognize, we're getting companies joining. We are now at 46 members. When we first started in 2020, we had 11 companies that were committed to the work. So we have been able to, we opened our membership up in 2023. At the end of the year, we had about 30 members. Now we're at 46 and we're continuing to grow. And what we recognize is these companies aren't saying, hey, we need to fall back. They're saying we need to lean in. And we want to know what those resources look like, because the data is there. We're seeing that our Black employees are not advancing. We're not seeing examples of people in Black leadership in the city. So what do we need to do to be able to get there is what the call to action is for those organizations, and they're leaning in to do the work.
Conversely, those that have been on board since the beginning, those original 11 and maybe some that joined early on, are they seeing success stories that then serve as the object lesson for the others?
Yes, one of the things I tell people, this work, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So there are some small advances that they've been able to see from finding talent. One example is someone attended one of our people community of practices and was hiring some new talent on board, and they didn't think they were going to offer benefits to their part-time employee. But after attending our workshop where we talked about impediments to health and looked at the mental health, the maternal health, and benefits as a whole, they then decided to implement that into their organization. And for me, that is a huge win, because they were able to think differently after hearing some of the data that's out there and also hearing about some of those lived experiences of employees. We've also been able to see some of our organizations find Black talent that they didn't before. Last year we hosted a Black professionals brunch, and one of the employers, Black Onyx Management, actually hired someone from that actual event. And so when we hear those success stories, that's what excites me and allows me to realize even more that this impact we're making matters even more right now.
What have I not asked you about that you want folks to understand?
I want people to understand that the Business Equity for Indy is a free membership. But not only is it free, you have to be committed to this work. So we do ask them to share their data of how they're continuing to do this work so that we can track how well are we doing? What areas do we need to improve in? What areas do we need to focus on? And again, this is for companies that want to see change and are focused on equity, and also for those Black businesses that are looking for ways to really get in front of these organizations. Go to our website and learn more about procurement roundtable. Come network, come learn about some of the organizations that are out there and that are committed to the work, because it can be discouraging at times when you hear the news. But what I like to share is there are lots of companies and lots of people that are advocating to move the needle, and we're so glad to partner with those organizations through Business Equity for Indy.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.